What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Well, I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. Now, I'm on the computer looking at the Manila Times, and they did an article with Top Rank's Bob Arum. And as you guys can see, look what it says. Pacquiao versus Bradley 3, a done deal. Arum. So let's click on it. Now, the thing with the Manila Times, they've been around since 1898. It's a Filipino-based newsprint, and they're credible. I've done past stories that have all turned out to be true, using and citing their information. So shout out to the Manila Times. They usually have really good content. So let's see what Mr. Arum has to say. It's a done deal, and it's going to be a third fight against Timothy Bradley. We took a lot of consideration knowing Bradley has improved a lot as a fighter since the last time they've met in 2014. He said on a phone conference call. Bradley is happy about it, of course, and that's a really competitive fight for Manny Pacquiao. The report about Adrian Broner fighting Pacquiao is untrue. And then he went on to say it's not going to be Manny's last fight because anything could still happen. And you know Manny, that's why I won't sell it that way. I don't think it's Manny's last fight. So if you want to read the article in its entirety, make sure you check out the Manila Times. I'll put the link in the description. And this was to be expected. Now, I told you guys I did an ego rumor mill video 3 weeks ago. Go look at the comments. Some people were like mad, and then other people were saying, oh, this is just a rumor. Why are you reporting rumors? You don't know what you're talking about. And you hear it from the horse's mouth. Bob Arum is saying it's a done deal. So, ego rumor mill strikes again. Period. Now, I told you in that particular video, I'm not keen on a Manny Pacquiao versus Timothy Bradley 3 rubber match. I have little interest. And I like Pacquiao. I like Bradley. They're both great fighters. Bradley's a phenomenal fighter. But I told you, I don't like to personally see rematches when there is no reason for the rematch. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by reason is we've seen these guys fight twice. And the thing that makes it worse is I think Top Rank tried to sell it and stall, and they held out as long as they could with the announcement of this particular fight. And they made it worse by throwing in Michael Conks is throwing in names like Adrian Broner. So the boxing fans are salivating like, oh, that'll be great. Broner will talk trash to Pacquiao. That's Lil Bro, Floyd Mayweather's Lil Bro against Pacquiao. And then they threw out names like Amir Khan and Terrence Crawford. I'm on board with any of those 3 fights. Those are all great fights. And most importantly, it's Pacquiao versus a fresh face. And that's just what it is. And I would rather that. So I think Team Pacquiao did a disservice to themselves by, I think they knew this was going to be the fight. You know what I mean? Because I told you guys 3 weeks ago, based on my sources, that this was the fight. So I think all along it was never going to be Broner. They just threw that in there. But the thing is that might make a ripple in the pond and get some buzz and commotion going about the fight, but then you end up disappointing people when they find out it's in fact not true. That's like if you're dating a girl and it looks like she has big hooters and you're like, damn, you're 34 double D, and then you find out she stuffs her bra and she's really an A cup. You're like, what? Like, how did this happen? You know what I'm saying? And I know that was a terrible analogy. Actually, it wasn't that bad, but it is what it is. The whole thing is you're setting yourself up for disappointment and failure because we've seen this fight twice. And go look at the original video I did, the Ego Rumor Mill video. The consensus was all there in the comment section. There was only a few detractors and people saying, oh, Ego, you don't know what you're talking about, this and that. I'm not donating to you because you're lying. Like all kinds of crazy stuff. And in the end, check for consistency and the truth always comes out. So, the other reason for me, I like Timothy Bradley. I like his spirit. He has that willpower. But he's been banged up in some recent fights. Ruslan Provodnikov, Marquez was a tough fight. He didn't really get too hurt in that particular one. Got hurt in the 12th round against Jesse Vargas. And the thing is, if you look at since the last time they faced each other, what has Bradley done that suggests it's going to be something different. You know what I mean? You could say, oh, he looked great with Teddy Atlas, but he looked great against Brandon Rios, who Rios always struggles with guys with some movement, boxers. Now, it's impressive that he stopped him, but you got to look at the whole perspective. Rios himself doesn't have major wins at welterweight. That's just a fact. He beat Diego Chavez via disqualification, and he beat Mike Alvarado, who was coming off 2 losses, a loss to Ruslan Provodnikov and a loss to Juan Manuel Marquez. And he beat him. And I believe Alvarado had never even fought at welterweight when he fought Rios in the 3rd fight. So he didn't look like he was really equipped and had a good training camp and stuff like that. And we haven't heard from Alvarado since. So it's good that Timothy Bradley had a win with Teddy Atlas, and he did it over a named opponent like Brandon Rios and stopped him, something other people haven't been able to do. But the facts are, and I'm not taking away from his win, I'm just merely stating facts. Rios was on a long layoff, and Rios himself doesn't have any major, like, impressive performances. Like, when I look at Brandon Rios versus Anthony Peterson, that was impressive. He made Anthony Peterson foul out because he just was too much for Anthony Peterson. That's what I'm talking about. He doesn't have any wins like that at welterweight. Rios lost to Pacquiao in a one-sided fashion, and I think there was a knockdown that wasn't correctly ruled a knockdown. They called it a slip. So that's my point. I put things in perspective. Bradley fought for a vacant title, which I already know he's a respected champion. He's gotten belts without vacant titles, so that's not a big deal. But he did it against Jesse Vargas, and he dominated minus that 12th round. And had the little freak accident at the end. And Jesse Vargas is a career 140-pounder. Before that, he fought Diego Chavez, I believe, and he fought to a draw. I had Bradley winning, but it's just like a lot of people had Pacquiao winning the first Bradley fight. And what's on his record is he has a draw with Diego Chavez. So since they last met, what has changed so much? He has 1 fight in with Teddy Atlas, and he beat Jesse Vargas, who had fought at 47 before, but for the most part, he's a career 140-pounder. He dominated him. He had a competitive fight with Diego Chavez, but it resulted in a draw. And Brandon Rios, he stopped him. And I told you, Rios doesn't really have any major wins at welterweight on a long layoff. And those are really the facts. So, again, I would rather see Bradley versus Kell Brook, Bradley versus Amir Khan, Pacquiao versus Amir Khan, Pacquiao versus Terrence Crawford, Broner. Hell, I told you guys, I'd even rather see Pacquiao versus Maidana. If he can get back into shape between now and April, that would be a hell of a fight, and I would pay for it. You know what I'm saying? But this, I don't really fancy this particular fight. That's just my opinion, and I got to keep it real with you guys. So I think Top Rank, Team Pacquiao, they should have just said it was Bradley to begin with, because we all figured, or at least me, I already told you guys what it was going to be, and that's what it is. And the other thing that kind of shoots Team Pacquiao in the foot is Pacquiao's longtime manager, one of his managers, recently spoke out, and he says, oh, Manny Pacquiao, for his last fight, he's going to challenge himself, unlike Floyd Mayweather, who fought Berto and picks patsy rivals, right? He says patsy rivals. So you can't diss somebody and then pick a guy you've already, in most people's mind, beat twice. You know what I'm saying? Or in a lot of people's mind. And here's the other thing. Here's the other kicker why I don't want to see this particular fight. Because it becomes like the never-ending story. It's a rubber match. Bradley won the first one on paper, right? So he won. Then Pacquiao won the second one. Now, what if Bradley wins the third one? Is Pacquiao going to get a fourth fight with Bradley to avenge the loss, or get an opportunity to avenge the loss? Same thing with the Juan Manuel Marquez saga. It's like the fourth fight and the Marquez fight, they build it as the end-all be-all to put to rest and put to bed the first 3 fights, which were highly controversial. One was a draw. Pacquiao won 2, but Marquez was saying he won wearing T-shirts. And the fourth fight was supposed to be the final chapter, if you will, the end-all be-all. And it was a great fight in the series. It was a competitive fight. They both scored knockdowns. Then Pacquiao got too aggressive, got knocked out with a crazy Marquez perfectly timed right. And then all of a sudden, after the knockout, what are they saying? Oh, we want to fight Marquez a 5th time. That's why Marquez, and credit to Marquez, because when he was saying after he wants to leave it like that, I thought the money or whatever would lure him back. But credit to Marquez, he stuck to his guns. He's managed his money well, and he's like, you know what? I'm not going to sell my soul. I was robbed in some of the previous fights in my mind. I got a knockout. I'm happy. I'm satisfied. So I can appreciate and respect any man who sticks to his guns and his original statements and doesn't try to backtrack. So it just, I don't want it to be that, like Marquez 5 and stuff like that. The fourth fight was supposed to rid all the doubts. That's what Pacquiao says. It's to rid the doubts of the people. You know what I'm saying? He was saying that was going to rid all the doubts. And then, okay, Marquez rid all the doubts by knocking you out in a competitive fight. And then they try to push for a fifth fight. So it's just going to be like the never-ending story, like with the white flying dog and stuff. Same thing with Bradley. Like I said, if Bradley wins, are we going to have to watch Pacquiao Bradley 4 to give Pacquiao a shot at Bradley again? Because Teddy Atlas and Bradley had a great game plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I'm getting tired of seeing the same faces. You know what I mean? And the thing with Pacquiao is he's a hell of a fighter. And people are going to take this criticism as, oh, you hate Pacquiao and all this stuff. But realistically, Pacquiao has a lot of rematches. He beat Eric Morales twice, lost to him once. So that's 3 fights. 4 fights with Marquez, now a 3rd fight with Bradley. You know what I mean? That's a lot in the span of time where he really reigned. And then you look at some of his other wins, there's always, not always, but oftentimes a weight stipulation. Guys from 140 coming up to 147 to face him. Guys who had to drop down late in their career like Oscar De La Hoya. Guys like Cotto Margarito who were fighting at catchweights. You know what I'm saying? And that's just really Pacquiao. That is what it is. I would much rather see Pacquiao fight a young, hungry lion, somebody new, because that will show me something. You know what I mean? When Pacquiao was running through Hattons and Cottos and Margaritos, I want to know if he still got it. You failed the major test against Floyd Mayweather, and I want to see how much he has left. And against a guy like a Terrence Crawford, Amir Khan, that will show me. You know what I mean? Is Pacquiao past it where he couldn't beat an Amir Khan? Because in his prime, I would clearly favor Pacquiao, but you know what I'm saying? After the Mayweather loss and stuff like that, I don't even know where his head's at. He's talking about politics and stuff like that. So to me, other fights would be more telling. Pacquiao, Bradley, their bouts have always been pretty competitive, but why do we need to see it? Just allow it. You know what I mean? I don't even think the second fight did that great pay-per-view buy-wise. So clearly an Amir Khan, a fresh face like that, or Maidana, even a Terrence Crawford, would probably garner better numbers because people have never seen you fight Amir Khan before. They've never seen you fight Maidana, Crawford, or Broner, or whoever. You know what I mean? Bradley Pacquiao 2, I think, did around 450,000 pay-per-view buys, which was like half of what the first one did. The first one did, I think, 890. This is all off the top of my head, folks. But let me know what you guys think. Pacquiao Bradley 3. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you like my video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.